Hello everyone. Welcome to episode 5. Your friendly exercise physiologist Iridu is here with another exciting episode. It's more exciting because she is using her own voice. So from this episode onwards, we will particularly focus on anatomy as well as physiology and explore how the systems of the body works. So before we move on to the deeper subject areas, we have to first understand the machine. So what's the machine? Well, it's the human body. Before moving forward, we have to first understand two key terms. So the first term is anatomy. It is the study of the structures that makes up the human body. So when it comes to anatomy, there's gross anatomy, which involves looking at the larger structures of the body, such as the heart, lungs, skeleton, and muscles. And there is also microscopic anatomy, which looks at tiny structures such as atoms, molecules, and cells within the body. Whereas for physiology, it is the study of how the structures of the body function. So let me give you an example. So once we know about the structure of the heart, we can look at how it functions by acting as a pump to supply oxygenated blood to the tissues of the body. It is also quite common sense to study anatomy and physiology in hand because the structure and the function cannot be completely separated. Now, let's have a look at the levels of structural organization of the human body. The human body is organized into 6 different levels. The chemical level, the cellular level, the tissue level, the organ level, the system levels, and the organism level. Level builds on the previous levels to take us from the individual atoms and molecules up to the organism itself. So let's look at these levels individually. When it comes to the chemical level, it is the simplest level of the human body, which is made up of atoms, including carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen that combines together to form molecules such as water, sugar, and proteins. Moving on to the cellular level, the molecules combine to form cells that are the smallest formed units of the human body. There are many different types of cells and they make up over 50,000 different structures in the body. All cells have specific structures in common with each other, such as a nucleus, a membrane, and DNA. But remember, it differs in shape and sizes, enabling them to perform different functions which are required of them. So moving on to the tissue level, tissue is a group of cells working together to perform specific functions. So for example, a group of muscle cells will make muscle tissue, and a group of brain cells will make brain tissues. At the organ level, the organs consist of large amounts of specific tissue which are combined together. The organs are recognizable structures of the human body, such as the heart, lungs, stomach, which actually performs complex functions. At the system levels, the systems are formed by a number of organs working together for a common function. So for example, let's have a look at the respiratory system. We know that lungs are their central organ, but It is also dependent on the nose, mouth, a series of tubes such as the trachea, bronchi, all with the purpose of delivering air to the lungs. At the organism level, when all the systems of the human body combine, we have the organism. So, owing to the 11 systems which are working together, we are able to perform an incredibly wide range of functions, from breathing to moving to digesting and even assimilating nutrients from food. When you start studying anatomy and physiology, it is very important to understand the language. You will find where different parts of the body are described in relation to each other using specific terms. So let me give you an example. So there might be a sentence that says the stomach is inferior to the heart. So this means that the stomach lies below the heart physically, rather than that it is less important. So now we are going to concentrate on the meanings of some commonly used anatomical terms. So the first common term describing the position within the body is superior, which means towards the head or the upper part of a structure. So, for example, we could say the lungs are superior to the stomach. So, inferior means away from the head or the lower part of a structure. We could say the intestines are inferior to the stomach. So, superior and inferior are relatively easy to remember, towards and away. So whereas anterior is on the front part of the body or near to the front. So we could say the sternum is anterior to the spine. Whereas posterior means at the back of the body or near to the back. So the heart is posterior to the sternum. So anterior and posterior in general would be front and back. Medial is towards the middle or midline of the body. So we could say the sternum is medial to the collarbone. Whereas lateral means towards the outside of the body or away from the midline. The arm is lateral to the sternum. Whereas proximal means closer to the attachment point of the limb to the body or the midline of the body. So the shoulder is proximal to the elbow. And distal means further away from the attachment point of the limb to the body or the midline of the body. An example for this is the ankle is distal to the knee. Superficial means on the surface of the body or close to it. So the skin is superficial to the heart, whereas deep means away from the surface of the body. An example for this would be the lungs are deep to the ribs. That concludes the episode for today. So, to summarize what we discussed, we looked at the difference between the terms anatomy and physiology. We also looked at the levels of the structural organization of the human body. And also we looked at the commonly used terms that are used to describe the positions within the body. So in the next episode, I will discuss the 3 body systems that are very important when it comes to function and performance, which are the skeletal system, the muscular system, and the nerve system. So I will try to do all three together, but let's see. So be tuned for the next one and look forward to see you in the next episode. Thank you all for listening.